why exactly should we bring back shame? What has that done for anybody ever? What does that cause? What would that breed? Hi guys, welcome back. It's Taylor, aka Tay Bree. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to make a second video. Yes! I love that for me. A lot of people have reached out to me from my last video about my vulnerability, and I think it's so funny because I didn't feel the weight of vulnerability with it. But I'll tell you, if you would have asked me to make a video like that maybe 5 years ago, or 5 years ago, I would have felt weird about it. And it made me think about the idea of shame. And I definitely felt a lot of shame at the time. And less of it now because, I'm older, and the older you get, the less you care about what people think, which is the coolest thing about getting older. That's the flyest shit. So it's definitely awesome. Definitely don't kill yourself. It gets better, believe me. It does take a level of vulnerability to put yourself out there. Obviously, my dating life or any of my personal exploits or escapades, obviously that's a thing. But I think it's so funny that a lot of people have just pointed out the vulnerability of it. And I think that, I think that there is a lot of shame around sugaring and having a sugar daddy and being a sugar baby. And I'm not here to deny that it is a vulnerable thing. I've had my own experiences with shame and have grappled with it throughout the years, and definitely had my own perspective on having a sugar daddy and inflicted my own sense of shame on myself. So as I get older and as I continue to live my life, I don't have a sugar daddy anymore. We're not in each other's lives. But I think that when I look back, I also reflect on my own growth and who I am now compared to who I was, and just who I've grown to be. So with that, I think that also my relationship to shame and my relationship with shame has changed and has transformed and evolved to something a little bit more loving and more graceful and more fair to me. And I just love finding new ways to love myself, and definitely knowing how to transform and transmute my shame into something, and to shift my own perspective on whatever I felt negative feelings for has been just an amazing journey and an amazing power to tap into. I know that shame overtook me because at the time, I didn't really want to tell people that I was dating this older guy that was paying my bills, even though I was living for it. I was living for it. I literally was being paid to be a girlfriend and be in a relationship and to pretty much exist. And that was cool, but I think I was just more embarrassed by the fact that he was much older. He could have been my dad or my grandpa or something. I don't know. And then also it also showed itself through me not wanting to be in a serious relationship with him, even though I did enjoy my time with him. And he did ask me for a relationship, and I just didn't want to do that openly, and I just felt embarrassed to be out in public with him when it was wrong for me to be ashamed of him when I knew that we had a time together, and I did like to be with him and I enjoyed his friendship. But I guess it made him feel bad too. But also I'm just optically, you know how it looked. It looked crazy. So obviously I feel shameful about it, but that was, I just look back and realize there was kind of just no point in denying myself of that of that era, I guess. But you know, obviously I had my reasonable reasons for why I knew being open about this wouldn't benefit me anyway, but it wouldn't have hurt me because it was my truth. And I think that I shouldn't base my life on the perception of others or the ignorance of others. I know optically it was a thing and I didn't want to be seen as that, even though I really did appreciate my connection to him because he helped me a lot in real ways, more than anyone optically had to say. Like it was very real and very needed for me. I knew optically it wouldn't work in my benefit to be open about my relationship with him, because of it ultimately having an association with sex work, and I didn't want to identify with sugaring and the formalness of it. Like, it's a form of sex work. And I didn't want to accept that because of my own perception on it. And I really had to come to terms about that because I'm like, whoa, no, I'm fucking with this. Like, I like pulling up and hanging out with him and then getting paid for it. Like, that's what I'd rather spend my time doing instead of like chasing guys my age who was giving me the runaround, giving me lies and all this shit in the search for love, when it's like they can love you, but they also had too much shit going on, and I was still gonna be bound to be hurt by another growing human. So in my head, I just felt like it just made sense that I was spending my time with this person and it was still putting money in my pocket. So I was working, but also experiencing like a certain kind of pleasure that guys my age just didn't do. So it worked for me it just benefited me from all areas. So it just made me think like, why would I be ashamed about this more than it optically being weird? I definitely felt more comfortable with it because of how honest it was. I really respected the dynamic of us stating what we needed. I enjoyed and respected the transparent conversations we had because of that. And I just couldn't access that with guys that I would traditionally date. I just didn't access that, and I kind of was exposed to a certain way of dating that other guys couldn't live up to. So in ways I enjoyed that more, which was crazy, but I continued to deny myself of that fact. I mean, it was what it was. Like, that I knew for a fact that I wasn't gonna marry him and I wasn't gonna be in a real relationship with him because I didn't want to, but it was just the fact that I did experience shame at one point. Like, I definitely did, and I didn't want to be open about it. I didn't want to have like date nights. Like, I didn't want to go out because I didn't want to be seen with him, and like all these things that I denied myself of because of the perception of others. And it's a shame that wasn't really based in anything. Like, no one was doing anything wrong. Like, we're two consenting adults. So how does shame live here? How does shame exist here? Because I inflict what I feel about this situation onto it in the disguise of other people, but it's really just how I feel about it. And I'm just like, okay, I have to evolve in this, and I have to shift my relationship with this because it seems as though I'm gonna do it anyway. So even with the shame that I feel, I'm gonna do it anyway. I was talking to my brother yesterday, and I was explaining to him that though this is something that I used to be ashamed of, it's really cool that I was able to shift my perspective on it after so much time and actually free myself from the negative feelings and from what I think people were thinking, which ultimately were my own thoughts. So it was just nice to like kind of have that kind of breakthrough. I thought about how the things that we are ashamed of, they can turn into this like vice or this thing that we indulge in to, get our low freak on. And then we end up using and abusing it. In this case, like sex, this enjoyment of something that you're ashamed of. Like it could be anything. Like I don't know. Like it could be anything like that's just like you should be able to enjoy as an adult. But I was explaining to him that because we have this like shameful relationship with the things that we desire, we use and abuse them, and they become this thing that we just don't give a fuck about. So it's a part of us that we enjoy, but we deny ourselves of it, and we don't care about this desire that we feel of it, so we use it to destroy ourselves or for destruction of sorts, instead of reevaluating our like relationship with it and honoring it and respecting it. And I just think like, again, like this could just be me, but I truly believe that we can be much happier and freer people if we really lived our own truth in deeper ways, like not just saying it, but actually like forgiving ourselves and accepting ourselves and actually just being human openly and without shame. I also think that this approach to the world can be infectious to others, even the people that shame us. I think that we can take a lot of notes from happy people, and seeing how they accept their own lives. And I know that inspires me a lot. So I really do think it's my life journey to always try to accept every part of myself as it comes and continue to name the world as I experience it. I think that whether we desire to be in relationships with multiple people or to be in a relationship with, the same sex, I think these are other taboos that I believe that if people didn't judge themselves about being curious about or wanting to live out, we would be less deceptive people. There will be less heartbreak. There'll be less hurt people hurting people because we'll learn how to respect and honor ourselves and our desires, therefore, other people. I truly think it's about deciding who you are and making decisions that best align with that. With all that being said, though, I don't think that we can ever be absolved from shame as long as we have a heart and we care about the world, because, we always can feel bad for falling short at any point. But I think that this video is just about looking back on your own life, and there were times that you didn't make yourself as proud as you wanted it to be, but at the end of the day, it happened, and you you deserve to live again as free and as happy as you want to be, and to rid yourself from those negative feelings that you may feel about your past. And it's about honoring the truth more than the ideals of the world, because what we idealize for the world starts with how we feel and what we need as human beings. And I think that if we honor that and listen to that and listen to our bodies and listen to what makes our spirit feel most alive, I think that we will have better information for how to make this world a better place. And that's all I want. And I use myself as an example because I truly want good for the world and I truly want love for the world, but I know it starts here. And I think that it is infectious, and I hope to inspire people that I see every day and inspire you guys, and that you guys inspire the people that you guys are around every day, and spread it. Just spread love and kindness to each other, because we're all figuring this shit out. And I think that we all deserve to be here. We all deserve to take up space, and our experience matters. And multiple things can be true at the same time, and multiple point of views can be honored. So that's the end of my video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I am really excited for this journey. So yeah, I'm gonna end this video by reminding you to listen to my music. Taylor, all streaming platforms, wherever you listen to music, you better go listen. I'm telling you, or I'll shame you.